My boyfriend casually complained about his underclass junior girl. Naomi is so dumb. She can't even make a proper PowerPoint. Good thing I'm around to help her. Otherwise, that little girl would have probably cried in frustration. But to be honest, she's kinda cute, like a little kitten. After he finished talking, I mimicked his tone and nonchalantly shared some of my own news of the day. Oh really? We also got a new freshman in our department, a total klutz. He even trips while walking. I just took him to the hospital today, and he gave me 99 roses in return. Such an idiot. But, honestly, he's a bit better looking than you. By the way, babe, I have plans tonight, so I won't be spending Valentine's Day with you. Chapter 1. Marcel was lost in his own world for quite a while, not replying to me. Only Marco, who was sitting next to him, couldn't hold back a chuckle and said, "Bro, your baby is about to have another baby." I sipped my milk tea and typed away casually, even giggling shyly from time to time. Seeing the expression on my face, Marcel seemed to realize something. His face darkened. He suddenly pulled me away from the table. Outside, Marcel, clearly irritated, pulled out a pack of cigarettes and lit one. Meanwhile, I was busy replying to messages and absent-mindedly muttered under my breath, "This is hilarious. You're so funny, freshman." Hearing that, Marcel furiously threw his cigarette to the ground and snatched my phone. He glanced at the chat screen, scoffing, his tone laced with frustration. "It's just a stupid pig meme. What's so funny about that?" I quickly snatched my phone back and retorted, "It's hilarious. Why are you so boring?" Then I gave him a disdainful once-over, clicking my tongue twice. "What do you even want to say? It's so hot out here. Hurry up. I've got plans tonight." Marcel was flustered, staring at me in disbelief. "Plans tonight? Weren't we going to the movies together? What plans?" I brushed him off indifferently. "Oh, I already watched that movie before. Go with someone else. I'm pulling an all-nighter gaming with someone else. Way more fun than your movie." That did it. Marcel completely lost it, stomping in place with helpless rage. "It's Valentine's Day. You're ditching your boyfriend to game with someone else all night?" I replied flatly, sounding innocent. "Yeah, why not? If you're bored, go hang out with someone else. It's not like I'm stopping you." Right then, I received another message. I couldn't help but laugh again. Then I sent a voice message back. "That gif is so funny too. I love it." And with that, I walked back into the restaurant with my phone, ignoring Marcel, who was fuming and practically jumping up and down behind me. Chapter 2. Almost done eating. Marcel's junior girl, the one he'd been talking about, showed up at our usual curry chicken restaurant. The moment Marcel saw her, he got excited and introduced her to Marco. "Marco, that's the silly junior I mentioned. What do you think? Isn't she cute?" Marco glanced up at me, trying hard not to laugh. "Yeah, she is kinda cute. But I think you're silly too, and also cute." Right after saying that, he let out a chuckle, accidentally spraying saliva all over Marcel's face. Sorry bro, I couldn't hold it in. My bad. I'm just too dumb. I'll punish myself with a drink." Then he downed half a glass of juice in one go. Marcel wiped the pulp off his face helplessly, then smiled sweetly and waved at the junior. "What a coincidence. You're here to eat too?" She blushed, nodded shyly, hugged her backpack, and walked toward the ordering counter. On the way, she almost tripped over herself. Marcel's face lit up with amusement. He chuckled dotingly. "Silly girl, your shoelaces are untied." Sighing, he walked over to her with a resigned look. Marco nudged me and told me to look up from my phone unless I wanted someone to steal my boyfriend. I shrugged indifferently and followed his line of sight. There was Marcel crouched down, tying the junior's shoelaces into a neat bow. As he stood up, he couldn't help but pat her head gently. "You're so clueless. Didn't even notice your shoelaces came undone." The junior stared bashfully at the floor. "I'm sorry, senpai. I made you worry." Marcel replied with helpless affection. "It's okay. Be good. Go eat now." Then he watched her go to the back of the line, reluctant to take his eyes off her. Eventually, his heart couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed her numbered ticket and took her spot in line. "You go sit down. I'll queue for you, so you don't end up spilling your food or something." The junior playfully stuck her tongue out at him and sat down behind him. I just watched their little performance with a blank face. No emotional waves in my heart at all. Instead, my attention kept drifting to the boy serving the food. Watching him work so earnestly gave me an oddly satisfying sense of peace. Marco was stunned that I hadn't exploded on anyone. Ava, what's going on? You're not freaking out over this? Where's the Ava who once took down an entire department by herself? I let out a vague huh, and brushed it off. Those were my youthful glory days, not worth mentioning. Then I went back to observing the busy boy. I watched as he filled Marcel's bowl of chicken and rice with potatoes but didn't add any chicken. That finally made me burst out laughing. Then the boy looked over at me, scratching his head awkwardly and giving a silly grin. I gave him a silent thumbs up, impressed by his work. Soon after, a message popped up on my phone. Senpai, is there really someone who likes potatoes this much? No meat at all? So weird. I calmly replied. What's so weird about that? I love meat. I don't like veggies at all. His face turned a little red, and he quickly sent another message. I like meat too. Smiling, I tapped away at my keyboard. Don't forget to bring your ID tonight. He replied instantly. Got it. I'll bring a few extra boxes of that. I was just about to say I liked the strawberry flavor. But suddenly, my phone was snatched out of my hand. I looked up and met Marcel's eyes. He was scrolling through my chat history bit by bit. I didn't even flinch, letting him scroll, bit by bit, until it all hit him. He was visibly shocked. You guys have only had each other on WeChat for like 2 weeks. And you've already chatted this much? Wait, how could you even flirt over something like ants taking away your dropped ice cream? Seriously? I can't believe this. Why would you even tell him about me? Just because I finished a little early that one time? I'm usually very good, okay? Like, long-lasting. Ha, now I get it. 80% of your chat with him is about me. You're just using him to piss me off, right? Trying to make me jealous, aren't you? By the end, he started trying to convince himself. Then it was like something clicked in his head. He suddenly looked smug, as if he had figured everything out. Humph. And the stuff about bringing your ID, and a few extra boxes of whatever, you're obviously just going to a net cafe to game all night, right? You girls always play these little tricks. So cheeky. Naomi's not like that. She's way too dumb to be this manipulative. I widened my eyes and replied innocently. Nope. You misunderstood. We're not going gaming. We're getting a hotel room. Seeing the disbelief written all over his face, I could tell he wanted to argue with me for another few rounds, but I didn't have the patience to keep this going. I yawned and brushed him off. Yeah, fine. Let's just say you guessed right. Naomi's dumb. Everyone else is smart. Happy now? Can I have my phone back? I want to go home and shower. Marcel was so angry he actually laughed, tossing my phone back onto the table. You're serious about this? I gave him a meaningful look and calmly watched him teeter on the edge of a breakdown. Marcel could sense how serious I was, and it was clear he couldn't quite process the shift. After all, I once fought half the law school just to win him over. I tore up hundreds of love letters, broke my nails more times than I could count. Someone who loved him as deeply as I did, how could I suddenly start flirting with someone else? To him, this whole thing felt unreal, but all I can say is, it wasn't sudden. If he hadn't hurt me first, I never would have done the same to him. Chapter 3. They say a woman's love makes a man forget to look in the mirror. How true that is. I blame myself for spoiling him too much, for letting a bunch of girls eager to take my place swarm around him. That's why he started getting colder and colder with me, and falling head over heels for any girl who felt new. To be honest, this junior girl named Naomi wasn't even the first girl he started bringing up in front of me. Before her, there was Luna from the dance department, then Alice from the sports department. He was always like this, never doing anything outright that would make me hate him enough to walk away for good, but always unable to stop himself from flirting and playing games with other girls just to flaunt his so-called charm. I was just exhausted, tired, disgusted, and torn on whether to keep this relationship going. After all, it took a hell of a lot of effort to win him over back then. Just letting it all end felt too bitter a pill to swallow. It was during that time, when I was stuck between staying or leaving, that Lucas came back into my life. He's the nephew of the owner of this curry chicken shop. I used to see him in here doing his homework back when I was in high school. Whenever he wasn't in class, he'd come help out at the shop. Coincidentally, this year he got into our department, so I recognized him instantly. One time, I came down late to grab dinner, and he happened to be the only one in the shop. He loaded my bowl with extra chicken thighs, and somehow, the food tasted better than usual. I asked him about it. Turns out, it was his own special recipe. After that, just to make sure I could keep eating his cooking, we added each other on WeChat. Sometimes he'd deliver food to my place. Other times I'd come down while he was free, and little by little, we got familiar. To be fair, at first I was really just in it for the food, but after we started texting, I realized he was actually funny, and somehow, we just clicked. Every time Marcel ditched me, Lucas would magically be nearby. So over the past 2 weeks, all the movies I was supposed to see with Marcel, the escape rooms, the claw machines, the music festival, Lucas filled in for every single one. As for what Marcel was so busy with during that time, I only found out through Margot. Turns out, this summer, he and Naomi took on a part-time job together, 80 yuan a day, from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., all for making PowerPoint slides for some project. When I heard how much they were earning, I was speechless. Everyone on campus knows Marcel is a rich kid. You think he needs that 80 yuan? That's not even enough to cover his socks. Let's be honest, he just wanted to flirt and play peacock in front of his junior girl. And then he turned around and fed me some crap about gaining real-world experience through hard work. But this time, I didn't throw a tantrum like before. In fact, Lucas's presence made me calmer than I'd ever been. Every time Marcel and Naomi were out there grinding for that measly 80 yuan, Lucas and I were playing around like there was no tomorrow, night blending into day. I know I'm not exactly a saint right now. It's like one rope pulling two people. But the old saying goes, if someone's willing to flirt, and the other's willing to fall for it, who's really to blame? Lucas doesn't mind being teased, and I don't mind being the one people gossip about. At the end of the day, life is only 3 words. So what? Tonight, I'm ditching my boyfriend, and I'm going to the hotel with Lucas. Tell me, which girl wouldn't want to lie in bed with a guy who's 6'3", has an 8-pack, a gentle voice, a soft personality, can cook and paint? And the best part? He looks like my celebrity crush. So by that logic, isn't this basically me sleeping with my idol? Chapter 4. Marcel read through my chat history with Lucas over and over. Right in front of me. He kept insisting I was just using Lucas to provoke him. I couldn't be bothered to explain anymore. Lucas was about to get off work. I snatched my phone back and walked straight out of the restaurant. But by the time I'd cleaned myself up, sprayed on some perfume, and come downstairs, Marcel was waiting outside my building again. Eva, I know I've gotten a little too close with some girls, but I've never actually done anything wrong. If you walk away tonight, that's cheating. People will blast you on the campus confession wall. If this were ancient times, you'd be drowned in a pig cage. He grabbed my wrist as soon as I approached, like he was trying to stop me from going too far. But all I could think about was whether Lucas, standing tall at 6'3", was a chili pepper on a tree, hot and spicy in all the right ways. I had zero interest in dealing with Marcel right now, so I rushed to wrap things up. Okay, fine. You're right. I'm wrong. I apologize for hurting you. If you want to post me on the campus wall, go ahead, but please use the photo I took in Tibet last April. Not that monkey-faced one you snapped by the river. If you really can't decide, text me first. I can take a new one just for you. But right now, I've got an urgent and very important matter to take care of, so I don't have time for this. I'll apologize to you properly tomorrow, okay? With that, I tried to flag down a taxi, but Marcel blocked my way again, looking completely exasperated. It's Valentine's Day, and you have some urgent important matter with another man? Who are you trying to fool? Then he pulled his ultimate move, arms crossed, head turned to the side, sulking like some pitiful little house husband. If you leave tonight, we're breaking up. I let out a flat click of my tongue, completely unfazed, and stepped into the cab. Driver, Jasmine Hotel, South Side. Please hurry. Thanks. Chapter 5. The next day at noon, I opened my eyes and, for once, didn't see Marcel's donkey-like face staring back at me. Instantly, I felt refreshed and full of life. After a few seconds of blissful recovery, I let Lucas roll off me with satisfaction. Then I clutched my sore waist and shuffled to the bathroom to freshen up. When I came out of the shower and opened the door, I caught sight of Lucas at the sink, carefully hand-washing my underwear and white stockings. He glanced up at me, looking a little embarrassed, voice low and raspy. "I'm sorry, senpai. I should have been better prepared. I forgot to buy you a spare pair of stockings." Then, bashfully, he hung my clean underwear on a hanger. His eyes welled up with tears as he stared at the ripped part of the stockings. I was genuinely surprised, frozen on the spot, not knowing what to do. Honestly, I'd never been treated like this before. When Marcel didn't make me wash his underwear, I considered it a miracle. And now, here we were, same bed, same species of man, but one lasted 30 minutes in one position, while the other went 3 hours with over a dozen, before I could even find the right words to comfort him. My phone rang. I rushed back to the bed and saw that it was Marcel calling. Judging by the screen, he'd already called me more than 10 times, but all the logs showed each call being ended after a few seconds. Lucas must have hung up for me while I was asleep. Nice, he actually cared about letting his lover get some rest. Unconsciously, I added a few more points to Lucas in my heart. Only then did I answer. "Hello?" As soon as I spoke, I realized my voice was even raspier than Lucas's. I had to cough a few times just to make it sound halfway normal. When Marcel heard my voice, he completely lost it. He screamed into the phone, so flustered he couldn't even form proper sentences. "You actually did it with him? How? How did you do it?" There was a brief silence. Then he tried to backtrack. "No, I mean, how dare you do it? You have a boyfriend." I let out a soft hum and replied calmly. "So what?" That really killed the conversation. I was the one who broke the silence. "Do you want the details? I can write you a nice little essay, 30,000 words if you want." All I could hear on the other end was breathing, then a few beeps. He hung up. I shrugged and turned to meet Lucas's gaze. He was still carefully trying to repair my stockings. "Sorry," I said. "You might have someone coming after you now." He didn't seem to care. All his focus was on those stockings. Seeing how seriously he was trying, I sighed and walked over. "Stop it. Those are single-use anyway." I grabbed the stockings from his hands and tossed them in the trash, right on top of some half-deflated clear balloons. Then I started gathering my stuff to head home and catch up on sleep. Lucas looked like he wanted to say something, but I didn't give him the chance. In a flash, I was out the door with my bag. It wasn't until I got home that I realized what he probably wanted to say. The space beside me was empty. Then my phone lit up with a message from Lucas. He'd sent a picture. "Senpai, did you forget this? There's too much water, won't dry anytime soon. Should I blow dry it and bring it over to you?" Reading that, it was really hard not to let my mind go to the gutter, especially considering how much that sentence resembled the way he talked last night. After taking a breath and calming myself, I replied with a flat, "Don't bother." Then I started writing that 30,000-word bedroom play-by-play. But Lucas clearly wasn't planning to let me off that easily. He immediately sent over a video of him using a blow dryer to dry my underwear. The real kicker? He had a bathrobe tied around his waist, but his upper body was bare, showing off his abs. As his upper arm moved the dryer in slow, sweeping motions, the white robe subtly shifted downwards, bit by bit, revealing his V-line. At the end of the video, his movement must have gotten too vigorous, because the robe suddenly popped open with a loud snap. I gasped out loud. "Oh my god." My eyes widened, trying to catch more detail, but the video conveniently cut off right there. No follow-up, nothing. It left me hot and bothered. I replayed the clip a few times, trying to catch some meat, as the saying goes. Then suddenly, a voice message popped up in our chat. "Senpai, it's drying now. Should I bring it over?" Lucas's voice was sticky sweet, absolutely impossible to resist. So I let my last shred of rationality melt away and told him to come wait downstairs. About half an hour later, I went down to meet him, just in time to catch him and Marcel standing at the entrance of my apartment complex. "Senpai, I've got a part-time shift soon. Would you mind returning these panties to her for me? Then he gave Marcel a deep, polite bow and waved sweetly. Thanks, senpai. Happy Valentine's Day to you both. Marcel lost it and started chasing after him, yelling, Happy your ass. I'm having a great fucking time. Don't need your blessings. Chapter 6. Marcel obviously couldn't catch up. He ran a couple of steps before giving up and coming back. When he saw me, he shoved the box containing my underwear toward me and gave a light scolding. You really forgot to wear this. When we were together, you never used to be this forgetful. I paused for a few seconds, unable to believe this was actually what he chose to say to his cheating girlfriend. Honestly, knowing how prideful he is, I always thought he'd block and delete me, post everything on the campus wall, maybe even make a 300-slide PowerPoint presentation to let the internet roast me. But his tone now. What was this? It almost sounded like he was trying to let it slide, like he'd tolerate it if he had to. I cleared my throat and started speaking more formally. It was just a rush. I forgot. That's all. You've returned the thing. Now go home. Don't you have a shift today? Wouldn't want them to dock your pay. 80 yuan can still buy quite a few things. You know. He let out a bitter laugh, then said in a compromising tone, Ava, I quit that job already. I thought a lot about everything last night. I promised to spend this summer with you, but I neglected you for 80 bucks. That's on me. The rest of my time is all yours now. Let's forget everything that happened before and start fresh. Okay? I closed my eyes right where I stood for a full 3 seconds. What even is this? I couldn't come up with a single keyword to describe how I was feeling. All I could do was let my vision go black for a moment to numb the secondhand embarrassment from what I'd just heard. Who poisoned your food? How can you say something that humiliating? Or wait, do you have some kind of special kink? Marcel looked at me, totally confused. I just don't want to lose you. You know that during our 2 years together, I've always stayed loyal. I never did anything inappropriate with other women. That's because I only liked you. I got close to the girl from the sports department, and to Naomi yesterday. Just because I wanted to get your attention. I wanted you to feel like lots of girls wanted me so you'd start seeing me as a prize, someone worth guarding like a treasure. But you ran off with that curry guy last night, and I was really upset. As he spoke, he started making faces I didn't understand, pouting, fluttering his eyes, acting all coy, feeling awkward. I asked, You were just upset? He nodded, tone full of confidence. Ava, I know you. You wouldn't actually betray me. You've always been self-respecting. Never that kind of girl. You're just like me, trying to make me jealous. Get my attention. So you went to the hotel with that guy. But you didn't do anything. You two just slept, right? I was stunned, speechless. How could he say something like that while looking at the bright red hickey on my neck? How did he suddenly become this dumb? Was it that thing they say, you become like the people you hang out with? Has spending too much time with Naomi made him soft in the head? Marcel kept talking as he moved closer, reaching out to take my hand. I flinched and dodged him to the side. All right. Don't be mad anymore. Let me make it up to you. Let's have a belated Valentine's Day today. Yeah, I even booked a cruise. Go pack your things, and we'll celebrate on the yacht. My heart started pounding like crazy. I took several steps back in fear. No, thanks. I didn't sleep at all last night. I don't have the energy for a second Valentine's Day. I looked up and met Marcel's eyes. There was a brief flicker of disappointment, and then came his forced smile. Babe, I've already forgiven you. I don't even care that you left me last night to be with another man. Let's just move on, okay? Don't mess with my head anymore. I stared at him like I was looking at a pile of shit. He didn't seem to care, but it only made me more annoyed. At this point, I figured no matter what I said, it'd be impossible to convince him. So I went straight to the point. I unlocked my phone and pulled up a few photos from last night. Take a good look. This one, definitely not yours, right? And these abs? Also not yours. Oh right. Here's a gif. Judging by the force, also not you, right? And this position, you physically can't pull that off. Can you? Want to confirm the audio too? If you really love me that much, then you should be able to recognize the sound of my voice when I'm turned on, right? Here, Listen, compare it with what you've heard before. Notice any difference? I showed him picture after picture. With each one, his face twisted a little more. His chest started rising and falling erratically, like he was about to breathe fire out of his nose. Finally, with a tone of disbelief, he managed to squeeze out a single sentence. It's really that big? I confirmed without hesitation. Yup. So now you have solid proof, I did cheat. Now we can break up, right? You can go ahead and expose me on the campus wall, right? Then I did it right in front of him. I let him watch as I blocked him. Watch carefully. These are the official breakup procedures. Delete from WeChat. Unfollow and block on TikTok. Unlink the couple app. One tap delete all photos. Change my profile pic and display name. Oh, and I have a ready-to-use template for a full name expose post. If you don't know how to word it, feel free to borrow it. And most importantly, no posting my photos without my consent. Once I finished the last step, I turned around and walked away. Didn't give him even the slightest chance to stop me. Chapter 7. After breaking up with Marcel, he never bothered me again. As for the campus confession wall, I refreshed it every hour. Still, no post accusing me of anything, right up until the new semester started. My life remained peaceful. I slept until late afternoon every day, then went out for a spicy, meat-loaded curry rice bowl. After that, I'd enjoy some nighttime activity, a murder mystery game, or a trip to the bar. Honestly, I was in love with this lifestyle. Today was no different. I got up, went to wash my face, and was about to head out for food. But the moment I reached the bottom of the building, I was stopped by a middle-aged woman. I shot her an annoyed glance. Aunt Zara, I already broke up with your son. No need to keep forcing me to stay away from him, right? She looked a little resigned and sighed. I'm not here today to tell you to leave Marcel. I raised an eyebrow. Skeptical. Then what? You're here to laugh at me? It's not that I don't respect elders, it's just that she doesn't deserve any. During my 2 years with Marcel, she never stopped trying to drive me away. Sometimes it was bribery. Other times she dangled the offer of studying abroad. In her eyes, I was just some gold-digging lowlife seducing her wealthy son. But I, with my moral high ground, stood strong through all that pressure and stayed with Marcel. If I had known things would end up like this, I would have taken the 5 million yuan and left 2 years ago. Would have saved myself a whole lot of misery. Seeing that I wasn't being polite, she swallowed her temper and pulled out a card, raising her chin proudly. There's 5 million on this card. Don't break up with my son. Since the breakup, Marcel's been locking himself in his room, refusing to eat or drink. I may not like you, but he's my son. I can't watch him fall apart like this. To be fair, ever since he got together with you, his depression really has improved a lot. I do appreciate that. From now on, I'll stay out of your business. And don't worry, I won't keep you out of our house anymore. If Marcel wants to marry you, I won't object. But one thing must be clear, you came into this family with nothing. If one day you two divorce, you must also leave with nothing. Got it? Take the card. I'll drive you to see him. I stared at her in disbelief, then responded with a mocking tone. Wow, you people really have no sense of shame. Huh? She caught the sarcasm and raised her hand like she wanted to slap me, but she held it back. So rude. No manners. I seriously don't get what Marcel sees in you. What? Not enough money for you? You should be grateful. This kind of money could last someone like you a lifetime. I rolled my eyes and tossed out. Whole damn family of idiots. Seriously. Then turned and went to the curry chicken place. That night, the moment I had been waiting for finally arrived. A post about me appeared on the campus confession wall. Over 100 pages long. Like a biography of my personal sins, meticulously written. The most repeated accusation? That I was a broke girl who drained Marcel's allowance, made him buy me designer bags and makeup, only to run off with some random poor guy on Valentine's Day, sending Marcel into a relapse of depression and suicidal thoughts. The only problem? There were no photos, no transfer records, no screenshots of purchases, because those things never existed. I never spent Marcel's money. I always knew there was a huge gap between his background and mine, so I was careful. We ate cheap food near campus, watched movies on discount nights, went Dutch on escape rooms and karaoke. or only went during promo hours. Clearly, his post lacked credibility. That's why the entire comment section was roasting Marcel instead. Even more dramatic, several girls came forward and posted screenshots of flirty chats with him. So in the end, with the drama maxed out and the narrative falling apart, the post was quickly taken down. Exactly 1 minute after the post was taken down, Marcel appeared at the entrance of the curry chicken restaurant. It had only been a few days, but he already looked weathered. His face was so puffy it had under-eye bags like a panda. I casually picked up a piece of meat and popped it into my mouth. Glancing at him without much interest, he walked over, voice hoarse, and said, "Can we talk?" Looked like he had a cold. I immediately switched seats to put some physical distance between us. I didn't write the post. My mom hired someone to do it. I deleted it already. I gave a simple in response. He kept talking. "Is there really no way back for us?" Before I could reply, Lucas suddenly emerged from the kitchen. He poured a cup of warm water for Marcel, then said in a mock sympathetic tone, "Senior, drink some water. Your lips look dry, you must be kiss deprived." Poor thing. Then Lucas walked right up to me, clearly enjoying himself. He wrapped his arm around my shoulders, like staking a claim. Good thing I'm not lacking kisses. The message was loud and clear. Marcel tilted his head back, finished the water, and left silently in his luxury car. Once he was gone, I pushed Lucas away. "Thanks for everything these past few weeks. Oh, and about Valentine's Day, no one lost anything. We slept together. Sure, but from now on, we're just schoolmates. You've got stuff to do, and I'm heading home." Lucas's expression instantly darkened. He gave a sharp little laugh, then mocked me. "Didn't expect you to be this cold, senpai. No matter how sweet I act or how hard I try, you're still not interested." Then he grabbed me by the wrist and dragged me out to a narrow alley behind the restaurant. Weirdly, even after spending all that time in the kitchen, he didn't smell like grease or smoke. He actually smelled like lily-scented body wash. And the next second, his words explained why. He planted both forearms on the wall, caging me in, his eyes icy. "Senpai, you know, I always make sure I'm squeaky clean every day, just in case one day you feel like having me again. But senpai, which professor taught you this? That it's okay to kiss and touch your junior, then pull away and act like a stranger afterward? Didn't anyone ever tell you that younger guys have bigger appetites? Once is never enough?" My nerves tightened. I countered with the same line I'd once used to hook him in. "We agreed from the start, this was just mutual help. You said it was your first time and you wanted to try. I just had a breakup and needed you to make my ex jealous. It was one-time mutual assistance. So why are you acting all clingy now? If I knew you'd be like this, I'd have just paid someone." By the end, my voice was a bit aggrieved. I glared at him, frustrated. Lucas looked even more wrong than me, all his angry declarations collapsing into one bitter word. "Senpai, you." I used the chance to knock his arms off the wall. "Okay, enough. I've got a very urgent and important matter later, so I'm leaving." I turned to go, but the next second, he slammed his palm against the wall beside my head, nearly flattening me. I glanced sideways at the arm by my ear, swallowed nervously, worried he might accidentally slap me into next week. My tone instantly softened. "Senpai, that line sounds really familiar." Lucas's voice was furious, his breathing uneven. I froze. He was right, that line. "I've got an urgent and important matter." I'd said the exact same thing to Marcel while I was on the phone with Lucas. So yeah, he heard it. Same line, recycled for different men. No wonder he was pissed. I gave an awkward smile and tried to explain. "Just singing karaoke with a few guys from the student club." As soon as the words left my mouth, I realized I'd messed up again. Lucas's face turned stormy gray, and he stared straight at me. "Guys? Senpai, you." He was fuming now. He yanked off his apron in frustration and resumed the position from before, his elbows pinning me in against the wall, his expression dead serious. "Screw it. I'm just going to say it. Senpai, I like you. I've liked you since you were still dating Marcel. I used to hope every day that you two would break up. I deliberately stayed near you, hanging around just so you'd notice me, that besides that jerk, there's a cute, Handsome junior willing to wait in line. I froze. But when I was dating Marcel, you were only, yeah, senior year of high school. I applied to this university because of you. Lucas cut me off. Bold and unstoppable. I gasped and covered my mouth. You were trying to be the side piece in high school? His face twisted in pain, his eyes filled with tears on the verge of falling. Keep your voice down. It's not something to brag about. Of course I didn't want to be the side piece. Who the hell wants that? It's just, the person I liked happened to already like someone else. Don't make it sound like I was trying to be shady. His tough guy energy vanished completely as he spoke. Then, without warning, the tears came pouring down like rain, hitting the ground with audible drops. He crouched down and hugged his head, totally defeated. I stood there, completely at a loss. Right then, the owner of the curry chicken shop came out to take out the trash and saw the scene. Hey, nephew, why are you crying? Who bullied you? Lucas just buried his face deeper into his knees and waved a hand in dismissal. The owner caught on quick, holding back laughter as he disappeared at the alley entrance. I stood there awkwardly, then my phone buzzed. It was a video from the club juniors. They were at a neon-lit KTV, singing, waving at the camera one by one and calling my name. Ava Senpai. Where are you? We're all waiting for you. Flustered, I quickly shut off my phone, only to meet Lucas's gaze again. His eyes were red, pitiful, voice trembling. Don't leave me behind. I scratched my neck, but I already promised them I'd go. Seeing my hesitation, he didn't press any further. He suddenly jumped to his feet. Then take me with you. One more junior doesn't hurt. One less junior doesn't matter either. Right, senpai? My face flushed from his persistence. I nodded despite myself. Chapter 8. On the way to the KTV, Marcel's mother contacted me again. Please, I'm begging you, stop this already. He really can't live without you. Ever since he came back after seeing you, he's been acting strange. He just tried to jump off a building again. If our villa didn't have such low floors, my son would be dead by now. He's in the emergency room right now. For the sake of the 2 years you were together, can't you show some mercy? Are you really that heartless? Will you let someone who once loved you die because of you? I stared at the phone and laughed. Inexplicably. Auntie, 2 years ago when he had a depressive episode, I saved him once. And what was the result? I was the one who ended up completely bruised and broken. If I go back to him today, wouldn't that just be repeating the same mistake? Stop calling. The best advice I can give you is to take him abroad. Just don't let him appear in front of me again. Otherwise, if one day he happens to see me and my boyfriend being all sweet and loving, he might not be able to take it and jump again, and I can't guarantee how many floors it'll be next time. After saying that, I blocked her number and didn't bother with her again. Chapter 9. When I arrived at the KTV, a few younger schoolmates were singing. I quietly slipped in, and then they all swarmed around me. Immediately, my emotions were all over the place, joy mixed with nervousness. After all, the junior next to me had just confessed his feelings. It was a bit awkward for him to see this scene. Might make him think I'm a bit of a flirt. I gave a sheepish grin, sat off to the side, picked up a toy hammer, and started singing along, goofing around. Sounds great. But I had only sung a few notes when Lucas came over. I slightly leaned away, but he didn't push closer. He just leaned in a bit and whispered something to me. I sing well too. Want to hear me? Before I could answer, he walked over to the song machine and cued a track. When he returned, he sat beside me, swinging along with the hammer in hand. While we waited for the song, some juniors tried to come chat me up. Lucas cut them off every time. She's not feeling well today, no drinking. I know this love song too. Let me duet with you. Pictures? I've got long arms, I'll take it with you. The whole room felt like it was set up just for him. Seeing I had no space of my own, I headed to the bathroom. On my way out, I ran into Naomi, the same ditzy girl who'd been flirting with Marcel a while back. But now, she was nothing like the naive, innocent version from before. She was dressed in a tight, body-hugging dress. The 2 braided pigtails she used to wear were now let down and curled into big waves. Red lips, deep V neckline, sexy and irresistible. She looked like the kind of woman Marcel could never measure up to. Even I had to lower my head when I saw her. She greeted me first. "Senior, you're here too." Naomi touched up her makeup while watching me in the mirror. I forced a response, then headed outside, but right as I stepped out, I heard a guy behind me calling baby. I turned around and saw a super handsome guy pinning Naomi to the wall, kissing her passionately. Naomi seemed to notice my gaze and glanced my way. The guy, noticing she got distracted, bit her hard. Naomi cursed. "Get lost. I don't waste time on exes." Then she left the guy behind and walked toward me. As she got closer, I couldn't hold back my curiosity and asked, "You and Marcel aren't together?" Naomi thought for a moment and said, "Oh, that short-legged trust fund kid who's really good at PowerPoint is Marcel." "Me? Yeah. His proportions are kinda off." Naomi clicked her tongue dismissively, then sneered with open contempt. "Him? Didn't even sleep with me, just wasted my hotel money." On Valentine's Day, he spent half an hour hailing a cab by himself at the hotel and still couldn't get it up. I got so mad I just pulled my pants back on and left. No clue how you put up with him for 2 whole years. Must have been hell. "Oh right. I heard you slept with that guy from the art department, Lucas. So, how was it? Any good? He's got a face that looks like it could split someone open. If you ever get bored of him, mind passing him over to me?" I smiled awkwardly. When I was with Marcel, I honestly never thought much about that side of things. I figured if I faked a few moans and he was happy, then our sex life was fine. But after that night with Lucas, I finally understood what real passion was. Now, hearing Naomi talk like that, I realized just how stifling those 2 years with Marcel had been. Luckily, I cut my losses in time and I've made peace with it. As for her offer to take over, I didn't see Lucas as some object. He's not mine to give away, so I just gave a polite smile and walked off. When I returned to the room, it happened to be Lucas's turn to sing. He picked an old Cantonese song. The title was Cold Rainy Night. I didn't recognize the intro at all, but when it hit the chorus, I finally realized which song it was. And in that moment, my impression of Lucas instantly shot up to a perfect 100. Then, I heard his emotional voice ring in my ears. "On this cold rainy night, I stay by your side, hoping you'll know. Do you know my heart has already changed from what it once was? We're just forcing ourselves to stay together. On this cold rainy night, I don't want to go home, afraid to see your back turned, just bitterly watching the raindrops, but who can truly explain it? Sadly, I don't have the courage to try." During the instrumental break, he stared at me intently. I was blushing from being stared at so directly, and he just smiled. When he finished singing, he came straight back to my side. This time, I didn't move away. I left a spot for him. A flash of smugness crossed Lucas's lips, and he leaned in close to my ear. His breath carried a trace of alcohol, and his gaze was full of tenderness. "Senior, did you like it? My cat can sing in Cantonese too. Want to come to my place and listen?" I asked back. "Your cat?" He replied without missing a beat. "Yeah, meow." I burst out laughing at his antics. I was just about to respond, but before I could say a word, the door to the private room swung open. Looking toward it, there stood Naomi, leaning casually against the doorframe, holding half a bottle of wine. The moment she appeared, everyone's eyes turned to her, unable to look away, mine included. The only person who didn't look was Lucas, because he was waiting on my answer. Naomi glanced around at the group of juniors, then looked at me. "Having fun, senior? Enjoying yourself?" I had just nodded when she continued. "Senior, which one are you taking home tonight? Pick anyone you want, as my apology. I'll take whichever one you don't pick." I glanced around at the juniors, each one better looking than the next. I was just about to speak when Lucas cut in, clearly annoyed. "You're seriously going to choose?" He stared at me, visibly upset. Then he shot Naomi a disapproving glare, sharp and unkind. Naomi pouted and teased. "Looks like our senior already has someone in mind. What about you guys? Anyone want to come home with me?" Several juniors eagerly raised their hands, while I was pulled out of the room by Lucas. Hand in hand, Chapter 10. He pulled me along, walking 2 whole kilometers on foot. In the end, I was so exhausted I nearly passed out. Only then did he agree to call a cab. When we finally got to his place, The moment he opened the door, a group of cats rushed toward me, startled. I took a step back and rubbed my eyes. Some of the cats looked oddly familiar. Lucas led me inside and introduced them to me, one by one. Don't you remember? This one was the stray cat you used to feed at my uncle's shop. Some brat damaged its eye with a pen, but your family wouldn't let you keep cats. So you came to the shop often just to feed it. Oh, and that one over there, the spotted one from your apartment complex. Every time you couldn't find it, you'd leave food by the sewer so it could eat. The clingiest ones are these twins, you loved them the most. Sadly, they were poisoned once. Nearly didn't make it. You cried for half a month. Senior. All the cats you couldn't take home, I took them in for you. They all have names now. When are you going to take me home too? Give me a name and a place in your life. I was just starting to feel touched when, out of nowhere, he made a sudden, full-blown confession. I didn't know how to respond. Back in high school, I often had curry chicken rice downstairs from our place. That's when I would occasionally bump into Lucas. He was still in middle school then. Pale-skinned, clean-cut, a very handsome kid. But I never realized that instead of studying, he was watching me and the cats all the time. Seeing that I wasn't focusing on him, Lucas got more direct. Senior, I like you. I like you a lot. It was the first time anyone had confessed to me so seriously. And I got a little flustered. My voice came out soft and shy. How could you fall for someone like me? Lucas pulled me down to sit, handed me a cat, and replied in a relaxed, natural tone, as if what I asked was the silliest question in the world. Is it really that hard to fall for you? I stroked the cat's head, still thinking about what he said. He continued, slowly, each word hitting me right in the heart. Your eyes are beautiful. Your lashes are long. Your hair smells fresh after a morning wash. You look cute in your school uniform. Stunning in a skirt. Long hair makes you elegant. Short hair makes you playful. But more than your looks, it's your heart. You're the kind of girl who dares to catch a thief on the bus, or chase down dine-in-dashers in a busy store. You're strong and filial. You dragged 2 suitcases away from home all on your own, just so your parents wouldn't have to suffer. Senior, if you ask me why I fell for you, I could talk for hours. You're so amazing that I couldn't help but find every excuse to show up in your life. I know I'm late, but I'm willing to wait. When Lucas finished, I felt my eyes welling up without realizing it. So this is what it means to love someone in a real, tangible way. I used to ask Marcel if he even liked me. Was it because I chased after him so hard, made such a fuss, that he finally agreed to date me? Or was it because he genuinely had feelings for me? But every time I asked, he just dodged the question with vague answers. Now that I have something to compare it to, I finally get it. When someone truly likes you, you're always shining in their eyes, no matter the moment. Chapter 11. Facing Lucas's confession. I felt like there wasn't much for me to hesitate about. Lucas is young, sweet, knows how to talk, does housework, can sing, cooks like a pro, and loves cats. He's 190 centimeters tall, with an 8-pack, limitless stamina, strong but adjustable strength, obedient, attentive, full of surprises. What exactly would I need to think twice about? Isn't this what people call a blessing in disguise? Oh, one more important thing. He looks like a celebrity idol, and I've always dreamed of sharing a bed with an idol. So basically, rounding up, I've slept with an idol. I'm willing. I giggled to myself in my heart. Hand over mouth. Chapter 12. When I woke up in the morning, I caught sight of Lucas in the bathroom, washing my underwear, and he looked totally guilty. I'm sorry. I still didn't prepare well enough. I swear. Next time this won't happen again. I'll be more gentle with my strength, and I'll make sure to keep your size of underwear at home. I really didn't mean to leave you with nothing to wear. As he spoke, his cheeks started turning red. He didn't even dare look me in the eye. Meanwhile, I floated around him like a fresh, glistening mermaid. It's okay. After a few more times, you'll figure it out. When I opened the fridge, something seemed to click in my mind. I turned back to him and reminded him seriously. Oh right, your strength? You can go even harder. You have no idea how starved I've been these past 2 years. With that, I grabbed a bottle of Sprite from the fridge and started chugging, like a fish on the brink of dehydration. And as soon as I turned around and closed the fridge door, Lucas was standing right in front of me, desire burning in his eyes. His wet hand slid around my waist. I'm starving too. How about a few more rounds? Still unsatisfied, I wrapped my arms around his shoulders. Good idea. Halfway through, Lucas suddenly bit my ear and whispered, "Eva, it's such a waste that your spicy little romance story was only 30,000 words. I can help you stretch it to 100,000. I silently thanked fate. Good thing school starts in 3 days. These 3 days, we'll indulge to the fullest. Story 2. Everyone says I'm the biggest simp for Luis. I crack walnuts for him with my bare hands, go out at 3 a.m. with a high fever to buy him roasted sweet potatoes. Even when his white moonlight returned, I was the one who went to pick her up at the airport. Luis said, just a substitute to pass the time. They all said I was sick in the head. You know you're just a stand-in, but you still go running to him. I lowered my eyes. Oh, but Luis is also a substitute. Chapter 1. At night, I wasn't feeling well, so I checked my temperature, 39.6 degrees Celsius. I took some medicine and planned to lie down. Then my phone rang. Meet at the Encounter bar. Come over. The voice on the other end was full of noise. Luis's voice sounded drunk. I sighed, but I'm not feeling well. If you're not dead, get over here. I changed clothes, got a cab, and took off the fever patch from my forehead before going into the bar. The medicine and fever patch didn't seem to help much. My body still felt frighteningly hot. The ear-splitting music in the bar made my head throb with dull pain. When I found Luis, he was leaning over the table, playing with dice, with a girl on either side of him. I walked over and said to one of the girls, "Could you move, please?" She looked at me, displeased. "Who are you?" For a moment, I didn't know what to say, to put it in their words. I was just Luis's simp. The girl could see the situation clearly. Luis didn't care about me at all, which only made her more audacious. There are plenty of people who like Luis. You're nothing. But here you are acting like his girlfriend. Am I right, Luis? Luis glanced at me without saying anything, then picked up his glass, drinking as he asked the girl, "What do you want to eat?" The girl's eyes gleamed. "I want pecans. With shells." Luis completely ignored me and called the waiter. After a while, a plate of pecans with cracked shells was brought over. If you wanted the pecans inside, you'd have to pry the shells open by hand. The girl spoke again, her voice sweet and coy. "Luis, have her crack the pecans for me. I want to eat them." I looked at Luis. Luis downed the drink in his hand, then draped his arm over the girl's shoulder, playing with her hair absent-mindedly. He turned to me, his eyes blurred from drunkenness. "Do you have something to say?" I looked at him calmly. "Do you want me to do it?" F*******. He suddenly got angry, kicking the table, and a few pecans rolled to the ground. "Crack them. Use your hands." "Okay." Under the deafening music and dazzling lights, I started cracking them by hand, bit by bit. Pecans have shells much harder than the paper shell walnuts you find in the market. The sharp edges of the shell cut my fingertips. Blood began to seep out, and I casually grabbed a tissue to wipe it away. Then I continued. The pile of tissues stained with my blood grew on the floor. The laughter and chatter at the booth gradually quieted down, and they all stared at me. My fingers were covered in blood. "Luis." I looked up. He was initially looking at me, but as soon as I raised my head, he turned his face away, taking occasional sips of the beer on the table, pretending not to hear what I said. I called out again, "Luis." Without looking at me, he replied impatiently, "Talk. There are no tissues left. Could you get me a pack?" He suddenly slammed the beer mug onto the table, turning to glare at me furiously. "That's all you had to say?" I didn't understand why he was so angry. Frowning in confusion as I looked at him, he gritted his teeth. "No tissues? Lick it clean yourself." Blood kept seeping from my fingertips. I wiped it on my dress. The white dress instantly absorbed the red stains, bright and garish. I heard the girl who had originally asked for the pecan say, "Is she out of her mind?" Then came a sudden loud bang. Luis smashed the bottle in his hand. Glass shards and beer spilled everywhere. The girl screamed in fright. Luis, what's wrong with you? With a dark expression, Luis stood up. Boring. I'm out. I didn't move. Luis shouted at me. Not done cracking those pecans? I stood up calmly, but in the next second, an intense dizziness made my vision go black. As I lost consciousness, the mocking voices around me echoed in my ears. Unbelievable. She's got a fever, and still comes whenever Luis calls. No wonder she's Luis's #1 simp. Chapter 2. It's no wonder they talk like that. Luis never hesitated to say in front of his friends. Just need a stand-in to pass the time. And every time, they would all turn their heads to look at me. I just sat there quietly, no crying, no fuss, no anger, willingly playing the stand-in. I was obedient and compliant by his side. But even Luis had times when he got tired of me. One stormy night, he threw me out of the car on the side of the road. No matter how much you try, you're not her. Don't bother me again, I said. I'll think of something else. You're sick. He drove away, leaving me in the dust. After that, I didn't seek him out for about 3 months. Then, out of nowhere, he angrily appeared in front of me. Didn't you say you'd think of something? I answered truthfully. I'm still thinking. Haven't figured it out yet. He roughly pulled me into the car. Come with me somewhere. Since then, I started showing up by Luis's side again. One night, I got a call from one of his friends. Luis passed out drunk. When I got there, Luis was lying on the sofa, his face pale, looking like he wasn't even breathing, like he was dead. My mind went blank, buzzing. It wasn't until I felt his heart still beating that my tears stopped. You're crying as if Luis really died. Relax. He's just drunk, not dead. But I still wasn't reassured. I took him to the hospital to check his heart anyway. That night, I stayed with Luis the whole time. He woke up before me and was scrolling through his phone. His friends had taken videos of me crying over him like I was mourning, and sent them in the group chat, mocking me. Were you really that scared I'd die? Luis asked me. I raised my hand to feel his heartbeat, steady, strong, beat by beat. Luis said, even if I had a new heart, I'd be fine. Hard to kill. My eyes dimmed for a moment. That heartbeat, clearly pulsing under my palm. That heart used to belong to someone else. Chapter 3. When I woke up in the hospital, as expected, Luis wasn't there. The nurse came over to take my temperature. It had already gone down. My fingers, injured from cracking pecans, were bandaged. Luis didn't reach out to me during that time. A month later, his group of friends suddenly started a bet. Roma's coming back. Let's bet. How much longer will Alice stay by Luis's side? A week, a month, 3 months. Roma was Luis's dream girl. That night, I got a call from Luis. Drive to the airport and pick someone up. When Roma saw me, she looked me up and down from head to toe. Such a poor imitation. I can't believe Luis kept you around for so long. I drove quietly, not responding to her words. At a red light, Roma met my eyes through the rearview mirror. I heard you were the one who chased Luis. And before that, your boyfriend died in a car accident. Luis also had heart surgery during that time. Chapter 4. I slammed on the brakes. Roma, who wasn't wearing her seatbelt in the back seat, lunged forward and banged her head against the front seat. Are you crazy? Do you even know how to drive? I pointed at the red light. If I didn't, you wouldn't have a chance to speak to me right now. She angrily fastened her seatbelt, then started fixing her makeup. She finally stayed quiet for the rest of the ride. We reached the private room. As soon as I opened the door, everyone inside turned their eyes on me. They looked me up and down, then started mocking me. A fake is just a fake. When the real one appears, it's unbearable to look at. The room erupted in laughter. Roma gave me a sidelong glance, her eyes filled with ridicule. Even Luis was different from usual today. He had put away his usual nonchalance. Dressed in a white shirt, sitting upright, he had deliberately left an empty seat beside him. I used to sit there. Now Roma walked over to it automatically. I turned to leave. Luis called out to me. Did I say you could leave? We'll be drinking later. You'll drive Roma home. thinking about last time when he drank until he passed out. I glanced at his heart, frowning. Don't drink too much. His friends burst into laughter again. She still doesn't know her place. Roma's back. Does she think it's her place to worry about him? She's been a stand-in so long. She actually thinks she matters. I walked to a corner and sat down, taking out my phone to quietly play Candy Crush. The noise on that side of the room picked up, and someone suggested playing Truth or Dare. I don't know if it was a real coincidence or if they were deliberately trying to match Roma with Luis. The mouth of the bottle ended up pointing at Roma 3 times in a row. For the first 2 times, Roma chose Truth. The first time, someone asked her, "Why did you come back this time?" Roma said, "For someone." The room filled with knowing laughter. The second time, someone asked her, "Is that person here?" Roma's ears turned red. Yes. Why not just blurt out Luis's ID number? Don't. The whole point is to see it and not say it. The third time, Roma wanted to choose Truth again, but they stopped her. You can only choose the same option twice in a row. The third time you have to pick the other option. Roma had no choice but to choose to Dare. Pick one of the guys here and give him a kiss. Roma blushed and, without hesitation, turned to kiss Luis on the corner of his lips. The scene of them kissing froze in time. I happened to look up and met Luis's eyes. I ignored it, switching from Candy Crush to WeChat, finding the group where they started that poll. How much longer will Alice stay by Luis's side? One day. That was my choice. Whoa. Who voted just one day? That's cold. Amid the suggestive atmosphere, someone suddenly spoke up. Voter, Alice? They turned to look at me. I locked my phone, then looked up. Is there a prize for winning? Luis looked at me with a dark expression. Alice. What do you mean? Starting tomorrow, I won't come to you anymore. He gritted his teeth. What right do you have to make that decision? I'm the one who decides if you can come or not. I pointed at Roma. Then why not make her leave? You're just a stand-in. Do you think you're worthy? I nodded. Then I guess I will win. Luis's face twisted in anger. No one dared make a sound. After a long moment, someone broke the tension. Come on. It's just a game. Why bring up bets? Let's keep playing. They resumed the game of Truth or Dare. This time, the bottle pointed at Luis. Luis. What's your choice? Luis's tone was still off. Dare. Are you up for it? Then, pick a girl here and kiss her. I watched Luis turn and hold Roma, kissing her without hesitation. Everyone clapped and cheered. My stomach started to burn, rising into nausea. What followed was a wave of sharp pain. I clutched my stomach, my face turning pale. Finally, unable to bear it anymore, I rushed into the private room's bathroom and threw up. The pain in my stomach only grew worse. I curled up on the bathroom floor, so delirious that I started hallucinating. I thought I saw Sam. My Sam. Chapter 5. Sam and I had been together since high school. We were each other's first love, went to the same university, and stayed in the same city to work. Originally, we could have had a wonderful future. The year we graduated, I worked hard as an intern to secure a permanent position, often forgetting to eat. Skipping meals eventually led to stomach problems. One night, I was working late, and I hadn't eaten all day. The pain from my stomach condition flared up, and I curled up at my workstation. The medicine I usually had on hand had run out. Sam came to pick me up after work, and when he saw me, his eyes were filled with concern. He poured me a cup of warm water, told me to rest, and went out to buy medicine. He'd only been gone for a short while when I felt a bit better. Turning around, I noticed he had left his phone by the water dispenser, worried that he might not have enough cash. I picked up his phone and went to find him. When I got downstairs, I noticed a crowd gathering on the opposite side of the street. Some people walked briskly past me, heading toward the crowd. Seems like someone got hit by a car over there. My heart sank. I told myself not to overthink it, but I couldn't control myself and walked toward the crowd. I saw Sam. He was lying in a pool of blood. Scattered next to him was the stomach medicine he'd gone to buy for me. Sam! Sam! I ran to his side, crying. He lay there covered in blood. I didn't dare hold him, unsure where I could touch him without causing pain. I wanted to call the police, to call an ambulance, but my hands wouldn't obey me. My hands holding the phone were trembling. All I could do was cry and plead with the bystanders. Please, someone help me. Please help us. Some tried to comfort me. Don't worry, miss. We've already called for help. Others took out their phones to record us. Such a loving couple. Sam opened his eyes and, with great difficulty, said, "Don't cry." I cried even harder, wanting so badly to hold him, but too afraid of hurting him. All I could do was sob and keep calling his name. Sam, 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 Sam. He slowly raised his hand and covered my face. Don't let them film you, you still need to get married in the future. The ambulance pulled up beside us. The paramedics came down with a stretcher. Sam's hand slipped, inch by inch, from my face. I quickly reached out to grab it, but I couldn't feel his pulse. No, Sam, no. February 14th, 10:13 p.m. I lost Sam. Chapter 6. The bathroom door was kicked open, and I saw Luis. With him were Roma and his group of friends. They all stood over me, looking down at my disheveled state. I told you, she's not that carefree. She's just doing this on purpose to make Luis pity her. Quite the actress. Huh? Wasn't she all tough just now? Now she's acting all pitiful. I was sitting against the wall, clutching my stomach, when suddenly a basin of cold water poured over my head. I shivered, looking up to see Luis, the culprit, staring at me with cold eyes. You're just a stand-in, but you act so much. Even a plastic bag doesn't hold as much crap as you do. Disgusting. Soaked and miserable, I looked at his chest where his heart was. At this moment, I finally let go. He only had Sam's heart, but he had nothing to do with Sam. Sam would never have poured cold water on me. He wouldn't have made me buy roasted sweet potatoes for him in the middle of the night when I had a fever. He wouldn't have intentionally humiliated me, making me work for another woman. He wouldn't have forced drinks on me. He wouldn't have let his friends ridicule me. He wouldn't have embarrassed me. I stood up, walked through them, and headed for the door of the private room, leaving a trail of water behind me. Just as I was about to walk out the door, Luis yelled at me, "Alice, did I fucking say you could leave?" I kept walking. Luis's furious voice chased after me. "If you leave now, don't ever show up in front of me again to disgust me." I closed the door behind me. Chapter 7. I went to see a therapist. After Sam's death, I was diagnosed with severe depression. I have been undergoing treatment ever since. Ryan has always been my primary therapist. I greeted him with a smile. "Ryan, how have you been lately?" "It doesn't matter how I am. What's important is how you're doing," I answered truthfully. "I think I'm getting better. I can now accept that he has nothing to do with Sam." Ryan, however, frowned suddenly. "I don't think so. When something that a person clings to vanishes, they may find it impossible to go on. It's like their mental support collapses, and their world crumbles. I'm really worried that one day, when the thing you've been clinging to is gone, what will become of you?" I still smiled. "It won't happen. Look, I'm fine now, aren't I?" Ryan sighed. "Let's just do the test first." The diagnosis came out, and it was still severe depression. Ryan looked frustrated. "You're the most well-behaved patient I've ever had, but also the one with the least progress. You've begun to make me question my professional abilities." I turned the tables to comfort him. "Don't worry. I think your treatment is working." He gave a bitter smile. "In any case, Alice, I still hope you'll get through this and live a good life." Chapter 8. It's been a long time since I've seen Luis, and I had completely deleted his contact information. When I had nothing to do, I'd go shopping or have a meal with my good friend Elise. Everything was going well. But suddenly, Luis appeared in front of me again. One afternoon, Elise and I went shopping, and we got tired, so we went to a tea restaurant for a meal. Halfway through eating, Luis and Roma walked in. The restaurant wasn't crowded today. There were plenty of empty seats, but Luis chose the seat right across from me. He sat side by side with Roma, and when their dessert was served, Roma fed spoonfuls to his mouth. Sometimes she pouted for him to feed her, and he scooped up small bites for her as well. The two of them were affectionate, like a couple in the early stages of love. I looked down at my empty plate and asked Elise, "Are you done? Should we go?" "Sure. Let's go." As we were leaving, there was a loud crash behind us. Roma screamed, "Luis, your hand is bleeding." I suddenly remembered that even when Luis got a small cut from a knife, he'd wake me up in the middle of the night to bandage him. At first, he always complained the bandages were ugly. A grown man insisted that I tie them with bows. Eventually, I learned many ways to tie bandages, but this time, I didn't even look back and left the restaurant. Chapter 9. In the middle of the night, I woke up feeling thirsty. I got up to get some water and noticed there were over a dozen missed calls from unfamiliar numbers on my phone. After drinking water, I called one of the numbers back. Luis's hoarse voice came through. "Why didn't you answer the phone?" I hung up immediately. He called again. I blocked the number. Then another unknown number started calling. Having spent time with Luis, I understood his personality quite well. He had an obsessive streak, not wanting my phone to keep ringing all night. I picked up. "What do you want?" He insisted. "Why didn't you answer my call?" I had my phone on silent. He paused for a moment. "Before, no matter how late it was, I could always find you." That was before. Before, I kept my phone on 24/7 for Luis, a very dedicated simp. I said, "If there's nothing important, I'll hang up. I'm running a fever. Can you come over? I feel terrible." Luis gets fevers easily, and he said it was a side effect of his surgery. I used to always worry when he had a fever, fearing it would affect his heart. But after asking the doctor, I learned it was just an immune system response and had nothing to do with his heart. After that, I felt reassured. "No time, and don't forget what you said before." I hung up the phone. Chapter 10. Luis lay on the sofa, with more than a dozen phones scattered on the coffee table. No matter which phone number he used to call Alice now, they all went straight to voicemail. He couldn't accept it. Alice, who had always been so obedient, actually ignored him. At first, when Alice said those things in the private room, although he was angry, he didn't really believe her. Everyone knew how much Alice adored him. There was no way she could leave him. In the end, wasn't she just pretending to be pitiful in the bathroom, trying to gain his sympathy? But he wanted to punish her. How dare she say she'd leave him? That's why he poured cold water on her. When she left, he also said harsh words to her. But it wasn't the first time he had said such things. And every time, she would come running back to him. He always believed that this time would be like every other time they had argued. Alice surely wouldn't last more than 2 days before coming back to him. But 2 days passed, and there was no sign of her. 2 weeks went by. Still nothing. A month later, unable to bear it any longer, he called Alice's number, only to find he had been blocked. He couldn't tolerate this, so he deliberately found out her whereabouts, knowing she was out for afternoon tea, and followed her there. He even intentionally acted affectionate in front of her, hoping to provoke her anger. But she didn't react. She walked away calmly, without a second thought. She actually just left. The doorbell rang. Luis immediately got up from the sofa to answer the door. He just knew that Alice wouldn't be able to let him go. That after hearing about his fever, she'd definitely come looking for him. But when he opened the door, it was Roma standing there. Roma looked worried. "I heard you had a fever. Are you all right? Why is it you?" Luis lay back on the sofa, disappointed. Roma took out the medicine she had brought. "I'll get you a glass of warm water so you can take your medicine." "I won't take it. If you don't like medicine, I'll make you some ginger tea. It will help you sweat and break the fever." "I won't drink it." Roma suddenly went quiet for a long time before speaking softly. "Is it only if Alice comes that you'll take your medicine?" "Luis, I used to be the one you liked the most." Luis lay there, his arm resting on his forehead, covering most of his face. His voice was muffled. "I'm sorry. I don't know." Hearing such an uncertain answer, Roma suddenly became agitated. "She was just my stand-in. You've been tormenting her. There's no way you like her. You just got used to having her around. Now that I'm back, you'll forget her and get used to me." Luis remained silent. Roma's eyes turned cold. "Luis, do you think Alice treated you so well because she liked you?" She treated you the same way she treated her ex. Luis suddenly opened his eyes wide. What do you mean? She had a long-term relationship before you, her first love, who died in a car accident. Before he passed, he signed an organ donation agreement, and it just so happened that around that time, you had a heart transplant surgery. Bang! Everything on the table was swept to the floor. Chapter 11. The next evening, Roma suddenly contacted me. Luis refuses to take his medicine, and now he's delirious from the fever. Can you come over and talk to him? No. Just after hanging up Roma's call, another call came through. This time, it was one of Luis's friends. How can you be so heartless? You were with Luis for more than a year, and now you can't even come and see him when he's sick. I hung up. After that, 7 or 8 more calls came in, almost all of them from Luis's friends, calling to berate me for being heartless. But no one remembered how Luis had tormented me. Roma called me again. Luis just said his heart hurts. I froze for a moment. Send me the address. But when I found Luis, he was perfectly fine, sitting on the sofa. Roma and those friends who had bombarded me with calls were all sitting around him, looking at me with eyes full of ridicule. It was Roma who spoke first. Do you believe it now? Luis's face darkened, and he smashed the water cup on the table onto the floor. Alice, how dare you treat me like a stand-in? I wasn't surprised that he had found out, but I hated that he would make jokes about his heart. Don't do something like this again. It's childish. What does that have to do with you? He pounded his chest. I bought this heart with my own money. I can do whatever I want with it. Luis seemed to lose control. He became feral and hysterical. I knew all too well the stubbornness that lay deep within him. Prideful as he was, there was no way he could accept being used as someone else's substitute. It could only be him treating me as a replacement. He might even retaliate in crazy ways. But I wasn't scared. I had nothing left to lose. I decided to leave. Luis picked up a teacup and threw it, hitting me square on the forehead. Alice, just you wait. Don't think for a second that you'll have it easy. Blood trickled down my forehead. I clenched my fist but eventually loosened it. Turning to leave. Chapter 12. Elise applied medicine to my wound, complaining as she did. Is Luis out of his mind? He hit you so hard. I was lost in thought and didn't say anything. You should be careful for a while. I'm worried he might do something worse to you. I nodded to assure her. Elise finally looked at me, hesitating. I smiled. I remember. I'll go see Ryan tomorrow. Elise hugged me, extending her arms. Remember, you're not alone in this world. No matter what, I'll be here with you. You have to get better soon. However, the diagnosis at Ryan's was not optimistic. My severe depression had not improved at all. Ryan's brows were furrowed tightly. Your situation is worse than the last time. I don't know what could break your emotional pillar, but I hope it never happens. If it does, Alice, I hope you can make it through. I looked down. Thank you, Ryan. After leaving Ryan's place, I started feeling inexplicably uneasy. When I got home, I found Luis standing at my door, his demeanor dark and unsettling. His entire body exuded an aura of rage and the strong smell of alcohol. Chapter 13. I ignored him and tried to unlock the door. He grabbed me forcefully, and his lips crashed down on mine. The overwhelming scent of alcohol enveloping me. Some painful memories began to surface. My body started trembling uncontrollably. Almost instinctively, I pulled out the knife that I always carried in my bag. The tip of the knife was pointed directly at his heart. Just as I was about to stab, my clouded mind began to clear, and I forcefully held myself back. Luis noticed too. He released me and held my hand, the one holding the knife. His bloodshot eyes stared at me. Come on, stab me right here. I tried to pull my hand back, but he pushed it forward. The knife had already torn through his shirt. I yanked my hand back hard. Luis, what the hell are you doing? Luis laughed wildly, pointing to his heart. You care so much about this, don't you? You think as long as it keeps beating, Sam is still here in this world? I'm telling you, Sam is long gone. He's dead. That day, there was someone else who also received a heart transplant along with me. He's the one who got Sam's heart. And after surgery, He suffered rejection and has already died. Sam doesn't exist anymore. My blood froze in an instant, and his words pierced through my ears like blades. My mind buzzed, and everything went blank. Shut up, Luis. Just shut up. I didn't want to hear him speak anymore. I took out my keys, trying to open the door, but no matter what I did, I couldn't fit the key into the lock. Again and again, the key slipped from my trembling fingers. I numbly picked it up, over and over again. Look at it! See for yourself. This is proof that Sam no longer exists. Luis threw every piece of paper evidence he had found right in front of me. The words on those pages were like sharp carvings, stabbing into my eyes, letter by letter. In an instant, something inside me shattered. I had always been an orphan, always alone. In the past, I thought my life would always be covered in darkness. Then Sam appeared, tearing a crack through that darkness and letting light in. He, with his top grades, tutored someone like me, always at the bottom, dragging my scores up to make it into a prestigious university. After the entrance exams, he helped estimate my scores, chose schools, and picked my major for me. It wasn't until the acceptance letter arrived that I realized he had chosen the same university as me. I was so angry I cried. With his grades, he could have chosen a far better school. He just said that the major he chose was one of the best at that university. To ease my concerns, he even brought me to meet his parents, showing me that they supported his choice. I always thought I held him back. So, I worked hard in college, aiming for every scholarship. After graduation, I pushed myself to secure a permanent position at a big company. I was slowly getting closer to Sam. When happiness was finally within reach, Sam was gone. The lighthouse went dark. Later, when I learned he had donated his organs, a small spark reignited in my world. I thought, as long as his heart was still beating somewhere, I could keep holding on. But now, everything had collapsed. My gaze turned hollow. Those words on the papers twisted, grew, and then swallowed me whole. All my senses began to dull. Luis, with his red eyes, was yelling at me, but it was as if the scene was muted. Playing in slow motion, he grabbed my shoulders and shook me violently, shouting something at me. I couldn't hear him. The sound took so long to finally reach my ears. Alice, wake up! Wake up! Why? I am awake. Chapter 14. I was hospitalized. Elise stayed by my side all the time. There was another person who seemed to visit me every day, but Elise always kept him away. I had seen him from afar a couple of times. I didn't know who he was. I only recognized Elise. He came again today, and Elise pushed him down to the ground floor so he couldn't see me. I ran to the lounge to watch TV. The patients who usually watched TV with me were already sitting there. I always watched the same episode. I liked repeating the one where the heroine jumps off the cliff. At first, I thought he would ask me to watch another episode, but when I played the same scene over and over again, he just looked at me without saying anything. It was the same today. I watched the heroine jump twice, and I was planning to return to my room, but then I thought that he only ever watched this one episode with me every day, which seemed kind of sad. So I decided to make up an ending to the story for him. After the heroine jumps off the cliff, an old lady finds her and takes her in to heal her injuries. When she gets better, the old lady realizes how pretty she is and sells her to a brothel, making a lot of money. The man turned to look at me. That's not what you said yesterday. You said that the heroine was caught by a crane halfway through her fall and taken up to heaven to become a maidservant for the goddess Chang'e. Since the heroine was beautiful, Hou-Yi fell in love with her. When Chang'e found out, she hated Hou-Yi for cheating, but she couldn't bring herself to kick the heroine out. So she killed Hou-Yi. I blinked. Did I talk to you yesterday? He nodded. All right. I'm used to it by now. My mind can't hold on to memories. A nurse called me back to take my medicine. The nurse told me, "It looks like your friend is arguing with that man downstairs." I swallowed the colorful pills and pulled open the curtain to look outside. Sure enough, Elise was arguing with that man. She looked really agitated. The nurse said, "If you want to go down and see, I can accompany you, but only for a short time." I shook my head. No, Elise doesn't let me. The nurse praised me. You're the most obedient patient I've ever met. Chapter 15. Downstairs, Louise, with red-rimmed eyes, begged Elise. Can you let me go up to see Alice, please? Elise looked at him coldly. Even if you kneel and beg me, it won't work. Don't forget, it's because of you that Alice ended up like this. Louise closed his eyes. He didn't dare recall Alice's appearance that day. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just sat there, so calmly, crouched on the ground. She showed no reaction to anything from the outside world. Like a soulless puppet. He hadn't realized how much that revelation would affect her. All he just wanted to make her feel as miserable as he did. He wanted her to understand that he had nothing to do with Sam. That he wasn't a substitute for anyone. And that if she was going to love anyone, it had to be Louise himself. Please, let me go up and see Alice, okay? I want to tell her that this heart really is Sam's. Even if she takes me as a substitute. I don't care. Elise sneered. You wanted revenge on Alice because you thought she treated you as a substitute, right? You felt wronged and angry, didn't you? Did you forget that Alice was just someone you used as a stand-in? You even tortured her in so many ways. Do you know? Do you even realize? Elisa's eyes turned red. One of those calls in the middle of the night you made to mess with her almost cost Alice her life. A rainy night. Drunken thugs. A dark alley. Alice was attacked. If it hadn't been for her attachment to Sam, she wouldn't have survived. Elise wiped away her tears. Now that Alice is like this, are you happy? Does your revenge feel satisfying? Then just leave, and never come back to bother Alice again. Alice was attacked. Louise kept shaking his head, stumbling backward until he finally fell to the ground. Alice had been attacked because she went out in the middle of the night to do something for him. Chapter 16. I had another nightmare. A man reeking of alcohol dragged me into an alley, and I struggled desperately. But that only seemed to excite him even more. The rain mixed with my clothes as he tore them apart. Raindrops fell on my skin, and I trembled continuously. I cried, pleading, please, let me go, please, please, I'll give you money, please. But my cries, my begging, only seemed to make him more excited. He violently ripped away the last of my clothing, pinning my neck as he moved against me. The overwhelming stench of alcohol assaulted me from every direction. The torment felt like being ripped apart by a beast. And it went on for what seemed like an eternity. I could no longer cry. Lying numb in the dirty corner, I was dirty too. From midnight until dawn. Stopping, only to start again. Over and over. The beast finally moved away from me, spitting in disgust. That's what you get for wandering around at night. You deserved it. I thought it would be better to die. Alice. Alice. Someone was calling my name over and over. I tried to open my eyes, and I saw Elise, her eyes red, looking at me. Are you okay? She hugged me. That's when I realized my face was already wet with tears. I'm fine. Just another nightmare. The one I've told you about. Elise's body went stiff. It's okay. It's not real. Just a dream. Chapter 17. I continued my treatment in the hospital. That man still waited downstairs every day. But he no longer bothered Elise. And Elise didn't have to put in all the effort to stop him. I still watched the same episode of the drama every day. The one where the protagonist jumped off the cliff. The man who watched TV with me was always there too. Every day. I had to rack my brain to come up with a new ending to the story. And he always said, "That's not what you said yesterday." I didn't care what I said yesterday. I stayed in the hospital for a very long time. So long that I no longer enjoyed watching the same episode over and over. And I could remember what I had said the day before. I stopped making up story endings for the man who watched TV with me. And then he asked me, "When will you be discharged?" I shook my head. "I don't know. We'll have to ask Elise." "What about you?" I asked. "They'll probably discharge me a week before you." Oh. I complied with all the treatments and took my medication on time. One morning, everything suddenly became clear in my mind. After taking my medicine, I looked down at the man who had been waiting day after day, and calmly said to Elise, "Elise, I want to go down and talk to him." Elise was a little stunned, then her eyes reddened. "I'll go with you." I shook my head. No need. When I went downstairs, he had already seen me. but he didn't dare approach. He just watched me from afar. I called out to him, "Luis." He seemed to freeze, staring at me in disbelief, his eyes wide. "I have something to say to you." After a long while, he finally began to run toward me. It wasn't a long distance, and it was flat ground, but he fell twice, clumsily. He got up and finally stood in front of me, panicked like a child who had done something wrong. "Alice, have you remembered everything?" I nodded. "Maybe." He immediately started apologizing, slapping himself several times. "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done all those terrible things from the beginning." "Alice, can you forgive me?" I shook my head and stepped back. "I won't forgive you. I came down to tell you not to come anymore. Let's each live our own lives." Chapter 18. But it seemed Luis didn't listen to what I said. He still showed up downstairs every day. I no longer paid attention to him and continued cooperating with my treatment. I found out that the man who watched TV with me was named Ethan. Since I stopped watching the same episode repeatedly, he would occasionally bring some quirky little gadgets for me to play with. They were strange but really fun. Today, he brought some small rubber figures that could stick to the wall and then flip down by themselves. I threw all 6 figures at the wall simultaneously, propped my chin in my hands, and watched them flip down slowly. I said, "Ethan, I'm getting discharged next week. Congratulate me." Ethan calmly said, "Congratulations. You should also take your medicine on time and cooperate with the hospital's treatment to be discharged soon." Ethan said, "I'm getting discharged tomorrow. I'm done playing." Every time I played games with Ethan, he was always better than me. I thought I could beat him this time with the discharge date, but I still ended up behind. Ethan looked at me, his eyes showing a hint of a smile. "It's all right. I can come pick you up then." "No need. Elise can take me." Chapter 19. On the day I was discharged from the hospital, Luis was waiting downstairs with a bouquet of flowers. He looked much more mature and composed. Elise had told me that he had recently started taking over his father's company. "Alice, congratulations on getting discharged." Luis walked over and handed me the flowers. Elise blocked him immediately. "The best gift would be for you to never appear in front of Alice again." Luis was still persistent. "If you ever need any help, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll do whatever I can." Without turning back, I closed the car door. After another half year of recovery at home, I decided to look for a job. But once companies learned about my medical history, the response was always the same: "Sorry, but you may not meet our company's requirements for this position." Later, I received a call from Luis. "Alice, I heard you're looking for a job. You can come work at my company." "No need. Thank you." I hung up the phone and kept sending resumes. Elise told me not to push myself too hard, saying she could support me for the rest of my life. I laughed while pinching her face. "Thank you, but tonight I'm staying up to send more resumes." Elise huffed, stomping her foot. "I'm serious." After sending out resumes for a long time with no response, I finally received a call inviting me to an interview. I waited in the company meeting room for a long time, but the interviewer never showed up. Just when I thought I might not get the opportunity, Gu Jingqing appeared at the door. "Sorry. I was handling something urgent. I'm sorry for making you wait." I widened my eyes in surprise as I looked at him. Then I heard the person beside him call him, "Ethan." "Ethan owns the company?" Elisa's surprised voice almost brought down the building. I sipped my milk tea and nodded. Then why was he in the hospital? To be precise, he was accompanying his grandmother. The person who was sick was his grandmother. She only allowed people dressed in hospital gowns to approach her, so Ethan had to wear one. We just misunderstood. "So, did you get the job?" I nodded. "Yes." Chapter 20. Entering Ethan's company wasn't easy. There were no secrets in the company. Only a week after I joined, my colleagues already knew about my medical history. However, no one dared to make things difficult for me, because Ethan had openly stated that he had personally recruited me. The only person who made things hard for me was Ethan. He personally guided me, giving me all his knowledge, but was also incredibly strict. There were many times when he scolded me harshly. Didn't I emphasize this over and over again? Why are you still making mistakes? I'm sorry. I'll make sure to be careful next time. The damage is done. I'll deduct half a month's salary as a warning. Don't let it happen again. But I didn't hate Ethan. I could still tell the difference between good and bad. I knew he did it for my own good. And thanks to his strict guidance, I was growing fast. Cooking for him was the price he asked me to pay for learning from him. I don't remember how many meals I've made for Ethan. Today, after work, I cooked sweet and sour ribs for him. He took a bite and frowned. It seems you added too much sugar. It's too sweet. I moved the dish in front of myself. Eat it if you want. Or don't. He looked at me and smiled lightly. Alice, you're getting bold. At first, when I cooked for Ethan, I was very careful to cater to his tastes. Each time I finished a dish, I'd ask if it was too salty or bland, and quietly noted his preferences, telling him I'd improve next time. Now, I didn't bother so much. Now is off work time. Ethan, he shook his head with a smile, but still ate all of the sweet and sour ribs and took care of washing the dishes afterward. The days went by one by one. At the company's annual event, I climbed a ladder to hang garlands in the office. The person holding the ladder left for a bathroom break, and I didn't notice. As I leaned back slightly, the ladder started to wobble. I fell with the ladder. I heard screams of panic around me. I ended up in the hospital again. Fortunately, the ladder wasn't very high, and I only had scrapes and bruises. I sat in the consultation room, waiting for my colleague to pay the medical fees, when I saw Ethan striding towards me. Before I could ask him how he got here so quickly since he was supposed to be in a meeting with another company, he suddenly hugged me tightly. Why are you so careless? I froze for a moment. Ethan, he said, just let me hold you for a moment. At that moment, all the sounds around me seemed amplified, hearing the cries of children and the scoldings of their parents mixed in. But at the same time, it felt like I couldn't hear anything. I reached out to push him away. His hoarse voice came again. Give me a chance, Alice. Let me pursue you. I pursed my lips, still intending to push him away, but he had already let go of me. Only then did I realize that his eyes were red. I said softly, do you know why I was hospitalized? I'm really sick. I still have a lover I can't forget. Also, before I bit my lip, I was assaulted. What you see of me now is normal, but I can't be sure what might cause another relapse in the future. I'm broken, not worthy of anyone's love. He raised his hand, gently covering my eyes. Never underestimate yourself. If someone loves you, then you're worthy of that love. I like you, no matter what you are like. I sniffled, my eyes a little wet. Thankfully, his hand was covering my eyes, giving me somewhere to hide. I'm sorry, I said. For now, I haven't moved on from Sam. Being with you wouldn't be fair. He withdrew his hand and ruffled my hair. I'm just pursuing you, not asking you to be with me immediately. If one day you're ready to move forward, remember, come to me. All right? The hospital was bustling, with constant noise from the people coming and going, but the corner that Ethan was holding for me felt peaceful and calm. I nodded. All right. Spring will always come when flowers bloom. Chapter 21. Office building. The assistant walked into Luis's office. Boss. Miss Alice fell off a ladder and got hurt. Luis immediately stood up from his seat. Which hospital is she in? The assistant took out his phone. Maybe you'd like to see this picture first. In the hospital's consultation room, Ethan was bending over, wrapping Alice in his arms, as if he was holding a treasure. Luis slumped back into his seat, lowering his head, and didn't say anything for a long time. The assistant continued to report. Miss Roma has come again. Do you want to see her? I won't see her. Tell her she can have all the money she needs, as long as she never comes to find me again. The assistant nodded. Also, boss, the hospital report is out. Your heart condition isn't looking good, and you need to be hospitalized for treatment as soon as possible. Otherwise, it could affect your ability to work and live normally. There's no need, and don't report this to my parents either. But boss, your health. Luis rubbed at his aching heart and waved the assistant away. I know my own body. Did you find that person? The assistant paused for a moment before realizing Luis was referring to the person who had once assaulted Miss Alice. Yes, we found him. He got out of prison a week ago. but it seems he committed another crime and got arrested again. This time, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. It's said that the assistant carefully glanced at Luis. It was Ethan's doing. Luis lowered his head and gave a bitter smile. As he smiled, sobs began to break through. The assistant quietly left the office. A long time later, Luis finally raised his head. Once he had composed himself, he called Alice. "Hello. I'm sorry, Alice. Truly, I'm sorry," Luis said. "From now on, make sure you're happy. And goodbye."